Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We gotta ask each other random fucking questions and just have a conversation. Like the camera isn't even there, and whatever's said is said. And
that's do not take any personal offense to what is said here. People do that, and that's just stupid.
If there are any questions or concern, I'm sure everybody knows how to reach me at this fucking point. Yeah. Please address them with me directly. I have zero problem with confrontation.
Dun, dun, dun. Man, who is your least favorite person to wrestle?
Aside from me.
What?
Ooh. Current, past, what?
Let's go ever in BWA time.
Ever on the BW roster? It's a tough question. I'm not sure if I even wrestled everybody on the roster yet.
The question was, who is your least favorite person?
Least favorite that I have.
All the people you've wrestled. Who's your least favorite?
I can tell you.
We have to slow it down from that.
Actually, pictures.
I got my quay on. Least favorite person to work with.
Don't be diplomatic.
What?
We'll get back to you.
No, I have an answer, and do not take any personal offense, but it would be Derek. Nothing personal. I mean, you got a lot of work to do, but we all do. It's just fucking weird.
Fucking weird. Nice. Would you care to elaborate before we hear a gunshot in the background?
Look, he's gonna call me, and I know it, and I'll be waiting. It's because there's like too much hesitation. I'd say, it's, you know what I mean. It's not. It's like when you go to do something, it's like you wait and then you do it. I get maybe because you hesitate. Maybe that's the biggest problem. I think that's probably right.
It's not the throwing the elbow pad.
That was me. No, that was not me.
I'm not worried about any of that.
I lack in psychology.
I think, how many people do what they do, but I think it's probably the hesitation that was the biggest thing.
I was scared to take big boy moves. That kind of thing.
Even little boy.
Yeah, hesitation. Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, it'll be what it'll be, but, you know. Yes, you can call me. We can talk about this. I know you will. All for it.
All right, ask somebody a question.
Fuck.
That's not a question.
If anybody else has one, you can jump in and get back to them.
Well, with Chris, with you being retired, is there anybody you didn't get to work with that you're now sitting here looking from the outside in and you're like, I wish I would have done something more with a person, or just, you know, that you actually had the ability to do something with them?
As the booker, I could pretty much do whatever the fuck I want and book whatever the fuck I want and have a storyline for anybody
yeah, but you're
I
not
want.
a piece of shit.
I would have liked. I liked being the top heel with the goons and fucking with HIV and Havoc and Thomas and doing all of that. But honestly, we always have an influx of heels. Like Takeover was at the same time doing the same thing. As far as individuals go, I'd like to have worked something with Jacob. I mean, that's an easy answer right there. Anybody can work something with Jacob. A couple of David Goliath matches, maybe with some of the smaller guys, throw them around, put them in full Nelson slams.
Tommy Gunn.
You killed Tommy Gunn.
I think the story of me and Craven wrestling was a good idea. It didn't turn out to be a good match, but obviously the out-of-character implications made it something that people might be interested in seeing. Of course, the Clown thing. I booked myself against Clown in a match to try to impress Andrea.
Damn!
Oh shit! Open!
Damn!
Because she was coming to that show.
Died from a table.
And I was like, who can I put myself in a match with that I can, like, look good against?
That's also the reason why Jay Slash went over my shoulders.
You know what? I remember getting a phone call. Do you know if the girl's coming? Yeah, she tells me she'll be there. Why?
Well, I did the right thing. I lost the match. I didn't put myself over a Clown. And I did join the murder, like, a month and a half later.
He did put his name on the table and put him through.
If you guys remember, that was supposed to be an outdoor show. And at the last second, I paid the $200 to make it an indoor show on the spot. Because I'm like, this is mine, free of charge. I want her in the front row. I want to hurt this guy. I want to put him through an $8 table that I bought.
And she's sitting in there. She's welcome to sit in this room
Hold
now.
up. She's over there on the computer.
So,
I
and
guarantee you everybody throws up when they see you whip that camera.
I don't care. This is Scorsese angle.
3D glasses, man. Fucking. So that was the clown wrestling story. And I like choke slammed him off the top rope for some reason. I was just doing shit to him.
Cause you're evil. Damn.
Impressed.
I actually have a question for you too. And
What's up?
who left the BEWA? Well, let me rephrase it. Did you have big plans for somebody and they left before you could implement them?
Clown.
Like huge, like something that like when they left.
Like somebody called me up, said I'm quitting, and I'm like, oh fuck, he's about to win the brawl for all, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe something like that, or maybe something even for long term.
No, I mean, I've always in the back of my head got long term plans for people, and I kind of have like plan A, plan B in my head in case someone's not there or somebody's there. I mean,
Somebody
he
breaks
knows
his ankle.
got Legacy 4, but it's like. I'm really laid back when someone's ready to go pro or someone's got to move, and especially now when we got like 40 people, I can just plug somebody else in, you know? Havoc and Kid can wrestle 80 times a year and still make it a way to be entertaining, but if Kid ain't around, I can just throw Havoc in something else. So I can't think off the top of my head of a specific situation where somebody was about to do something awesome and he just disappeared. I mean, so it wasn't Spider. Spider fucked up. That's what he did. But he could tell you about that. But that's,
Yeah.
I mean, Dan knew who we had at Fatal Finale 1 or 2, excuse me, if he would have stayed, and that wasn't anything spectacular. But I can't think of an
What about
instance.
Clown?
Clown was going to have a decent run. He was going to drop it at Ascension to
Yeah.
Black Hawk actually, but that got changed. But it is what it is. Anybody else got something to say about that? Or?
What?
No, not really. I mean, I was flexible with this shit. Dan, is there anybody on the roster that you would like to work? You would have liked to work a program with if you were still around?
Actually, Joel, I've always. I wanted to do an HIV Reaper thing.
Yeah.
I pitched that to the both of you guys because I just thought it would be fun to do. That was the one that never materialized. I mean, there's a lot of people I didn't get to work with. That I'd like to come, or I would have liked to have done something with. At this point, with the stipulations of the Hall of Fame, that's most likely never ever going to materialize for the majority of people. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, this legacy match is something that's special for me. So I don't want to necessarily just keep coming back to have these matches. I was there at day 1, and show 100 is something that's pretty crazy and cool. And like we all said at the beginning, that do we really think we were all going to be here for 100 shows? And I've always taken pride in everything that I've done with the BEWA, and a lot of the times when I'm talking with my friends on the other side of the coin, we're talking about the shit that we used to do when we were all backyarding, because for the most part everybody started in some form of the BEWA. It just had a different name. But if somebody brought something to my attention and Chris was okay with it, I wouldn't care. But the legacy thing is cool, and aside from working a program with Joel, that's probably the only thing I really wanted to do. Just because the whole HIV and Reaper thing, I just thought was comical. But I mean, you never know. I mean, it says one night only, but I could be convinced. I could be swayed. I could be had.
If I got a question,
Nude photographs.
Joel,
What the hell do you want?
or rather, out of everybody you've worked, who is probably, in your opinion, the best match you've had with who so far?
I had a really good match with you, Brawl for All. And if you watch the match now, it's kind of sloppy. It's the first time either one of us is in the ring. But with the short amount of time that we had to kind of get a feud going on, I think, with having us in the tag team match, right before there, and, you turn on Reaper, or not turn on, but cost on the match. I mean, we didn't have a lot of time to build a feud. Right. That's up there. I feel like I had a really good match with Eric Spade at Ascension a couple months ago. That was a high point for me. And there's a couple guys that I really enjoy working with, and there's a couple guys I haven't worked with that I would really like to. Jason G is one of them. I've never worked with him at all. That's Reaper, not as Henry Swank.
Yeah, or just as Joel.
And actually, the feud between Reaper and DT Gray was a high point for me. Not because we had particularly flashy wrestling matches, but Reaper was kind of standing up for all the fans that DT Gray assaulted for no reason. And
there is a reason. There's always a reason.
There's always a reason.
Where's Ken Reeve?
Ken Reeve is
Reaper.
I
had to ask.
I'm going to interrupt you right now. I got a question for you on the same fucking subject. With Henry Swank, why Jason? I got my theory.
I know what your theory is.
It's a good theory.
I
need you to admit it.
I think there's some truth to that, but I'm not going to sit here and say that
Y'all want to hear my theory?
Oh,
I know
boy.
what the theory is.
My theory is he picked Jason G because he was dating Kelly at the time.
Oh!
There is probably some truth to that. I'm not going to sit here and say that, that's... I don't know.
Did you
Any way you look at it, it's still fucking funny.
I think I was like, thinking, like, wow,
I think it had to do with something with that one picture. There was that one picture from the Emmy, and I think, like, I laughed at it, and then we looked at it, and he was doing some kind of goofy pose. I feel like that might have contributed, because I recall laughing at that with you. And I think Matt was there.
He's just an ugly motherfucker.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't harbor any ill will towards Jason at all. In fact, we talk about...
What you do?
Yeah, we talk about, our nightmare with dating Kelly and things like that, but...
Nightmare.
The cave. What?
Yeah, exactly.
Your cousins, that's what he said.
Yeah, he called out.
I said to that, you must have a lot of fucking cousins there.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Hey, you're the regret.
Sorry, Kelly, if you watch this. I don't know why Jason, but I think there is a little bit of truth to that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Some subconscious psychological shit.
Yeah, maybe.
Not to say you were jealous of him, but I mean, you already plowed that road. He's just paving the top of it. Anyway,
I've got like 2 questions.
All right.
One's towards the people that are, whoever, all 2 of them that will watch this. When we first started, and I told Chris I was going to bring this up at some point over the week, there was a lot of effort put into practices and getting better and improving and learning and respecting the vets. Like I said, when we first started, we had guys like Matt and Joel that had been around. And I haven't been with the B to 2.5 years.
Sounds right.
Give or take 2.5 years. There hasn't been a single practice in 2.5 years. It's like, why?
I'm sorry to cut you. There was one.
Go. If there has been.
There was one that Ray put together, and they had it at the building, and they rented the building or something.
There was never any outdoor practice.
But there wasn't any.
No.
It wasn't like.
But
it was
Well,
never even.
I was going to say I did one for the ladies and got like a bunch of people like Ray, Greg, and I had some of the XMW guys. Were you there?
No. I was just gonna say that
for the most part, they were all private sessions.
Yeah.
It wasn't a Fed
right. Yeah, it wasn't a Fed-wide practice, but I would say like in Gwen Oak, for example.
But let's just be fair here. So in 2.5 years, there was 2, maybe 3 practices.
Yeah, I mean a handful. Not.
And like we were making the efforts. We were driving to Lansdowne. We think we did that a couple of times. We were doing it in Patterson Park. It's like I know that I tend to take things a little more seriously than other people do, and sometimes I come off the wrong way. But if anybody is sitting at home wondering why they're not given a chance to show their talent or whatever, and they're wondering, well, how do I do this? Organize a practice. Talk to Chris. Do something. Improve. Like, leadership doesn't have to start from the top and work its way down. It can come from anywhere. Just show the drive where you want to be in the BWA so you can make the most of your experience. I wasn't there for very long, but I feel like I accomplished a lot for the short time I was there, and I attribute a lot of that to just I wanted to have match of the night every night. I wanted to be the best all the time, and I would organize the practices and do whatever I could to be the best, so that way when I went home and I looked in the mirror and I knew that my match was as good as I could have made it that day, and the only reason it wasn't better was just from human error and not because I didn't put the work in to get as good as I could be. But my question to all of you guys watching this is, where is it from you?
I think people are maybe a little, we practiced outside because we wrestled outside, you know what I mean? Like, we, at first, I know it didn't take long before we started, getting into a ring or whatever, but I think people are like, I'm not taking bumps outside. And I know for a fact of at least 5 or 6 people that if we started wrestling outside again, they would quit.
They would quit the next day.
They would never come back. And it's not a knock on them per se, but people aren't going to make the most of their chance.
Cool.
People aren't going to make the most of that. The deal is everyone is going to get an opportunity at some point. I think Chris, rotates everything pretty regularly to where people, are going to get an opportunity to hold a top title or any title or being involved in a big storyline, and you have to ask yourself, are you ready for that when it happens? Because it's just going to kind of happen, and you have to be somewhat prepared for it.
Yeah.
So people should be practicing. Chris is pretty open-minded about people coming over here and throwing the mats out back, I'm sure, and we did a little bit of that today, and that was kind of impromptu, but
you don't have to bump outside. You could even just work on chains and talk about stuff, psychology, or organize a fucking viewing session where you watch the last show and you break it down. Shit, it's not like nobody's got TVs and computers and stuff. Go to the bar on a Friday night and just see who's there and be like, hey, let's get together, let's watch this shit. What does Joel have to say about my match? Do I even email Joel and say, hey, can you watch my match and tell me what you think? And just use the people that are there. It doesn't necessarily have to be a practice, but it's who's reaching out. Like I told Matt Armada this earlier today, that I'm always available to anybody at any point in time, that if anybody ever wants to ask me a question about anything, they're more than welcome to. But it's just, wrestling at any level is 100% what you put into it. Literally. It's as hard as you want to work. I see Greg and Ray and a lot of guys putting up working out Road to Legacy, working out Road to Legacy, working. And if those guys are having killer matches, it's because that's the effort they're putting into it.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I think one one of the things I kind of see is that like there really you're right, there really hasn't been that initiative, I guess, as a whole, for us to really try to link up and try to say, hey, let's all go to Patterson Park and let's all work on some wrestling moves. That is something that hasn't happened in a while, but I do know that I am aware that individually I know that people do practice. But I mean, you're right. I think that if people really did try to get better, the main thing is just to listen. Because honestly, I really see BEWA as like a team event. Honestly, I feel like even if like the main event was the most phenomenal 5-star match ever, if every match before that sucked hard, then the show was bad. Period. So I think that. So I do believe that we all really need to try to work out, try to get things, ship shape and everything for everybody. But
I think when we practiced regularly, it kind of made the team stronger.
It did.
It became more of a tighter knit group than. Now I feel like it's just a bunch of individuals that are just there for themselves. That's how I feel when I get.
I don't know where that came from, how that came about, but it just. I guess it's just something that happened. I'm not entirely sure how.
It just, like I said, it's something that people have to find for themselves. And like I said, leadership doesn't have to start from the top. Chris puts everybody in a position to succeed. Mm-hmm. And I think if you ask him or anybody to organize something for you, then you're selling yourself short. If you want to practice, go practice. I'm not even necessarily a part of the Fed or anything but I put something up about doing something Thursday. I'd love to get a bunch of people to come out here on Thursday and train and work on stuff. I mean, Legacy is show 100. It's supposed to be, y'all's crowning achievement of your year. It's your WrestleMania. And I'd love to get more than myself, Chris, Matt, and maybe Joel, and if you're free, DT, just staring at each other. I mean,
yeah,
looking pretty good.
Yeah, a couple of dudes, I like arms.
A couple of dudes rolling around.
but I mean, it's like if no one shows up, no one shows up. But I feel like if people are gonna put their own time and their lives aside to do this, that the younger guys or the guys that want to improve should take advantage of it before it's just not offered anymore from them.
Okay.
But anyways, the other question I was going to ask is, what is the worst match you have seen?
Dark Star Flatline.
And you know what? I would say this. I put a lot of blame on Flatline, actually.
You say what?
I do. I do.
Flatline was just trying to hurt.
I do. In this sense.
Lone Wolf was trying to. All right, maybe that Lone Wolf Dark Star match was worse because then Lone Wolf's like, "Why are you stiffing me?" and started hitting him. Maybe that was worse.
But I was saying, like, for me,
at least Paul didn't flip out on him.
True, but I say this: I put more pressure on Flatline because Flatline he's a senior guy.
Trying to put him in his finishing move, and the guy would not let go.
Look, if he was wrestling me, and if he didn't want to, and if he was not cooperating, I would force him to cooperate. There's no questions about it. You don't want to submit?
But then that would cause injury to either him, you, or both of you.
No, it wouldn't. No.
Remember, it's not rape if you yell surprise.
Precisely. But I'm just saying.
So imagine how
What
I
the
felt
fuck
at my
was
first
that?
surprise party.
No, I'm just saying this is what I would have done. First, I would have just gotten Dark Star away from him. Would have communicated to the ref. Look, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put him in a submission, and then just count him out. I'd have did it.
Shawn Michaels on?
No, I'm just saying it's one thing.
Then you're going to put it in his butt.
Hey, no lubrication.
Anybody else have some bad matches they can think of?
I think my triple threat match between me, Craven, and Blackhawk was a fiasco.
Raise your hand if you remember that.
Thank God.
I booked it. I don't remember that.
Thank God y'all forgot. That was.
So like the Warfare before like Hell on Earth 1 or something.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I think the worst one that I saw, just because of how little sense it made, was a Twitch versus one of those OXW guys, and literally hit every single
Yeah, we did Mrs. Valentine too.
known to man. I swear to God.
But that was so good, it was, or so bad, it was good.
Yeah,
It
It was
was.
entertaining, but it was
That,
horrible.
I was just so. He kept kicking at it, and I was like, why?
Who takes the blame? Whose fault is that?
Twitch.
Besides both of them.
Well, no, it's Twitch's.
I think it's
because
Twitch.
If you know,
You're losing clean. Why are you hitting every finish?
and the other one that I could think of was Pug Blade Juggler, because I mean,
How you get a guitar put through your head and you're still adjusting your belt?
yeah, that's my one of my lasting memories was just bam, bam. And I'm just like,
Let's put the speakers out on everybody's computer right there.
so DT, you've made everybody throw up whipping the camera. Now you've made them deaf as well.
Damn straight.
But although I will say though that the worst spot to me is still hold this chair, I'm gonna drop kick it. Which I was so that's one of my like top 10 proudest moments, was that I was sitting like 4 feet away from that, because
I was working on you when that happened.
because
I'm like, what's going on?
he kept trying to deny it, and I'm like, dude, I thought you can see you're nodding your head and talking and everything. But for anybody who doesn't know, the wrestler named Johnny Monroe, I'm sure he'll probably get upset.
Man, we got a folding chair if our reenactment's in order.
Oh no. Oh
Wait,
no.
we can slide.
Alright, I'm Gary. I'm Gary.
This is
So you gotta give it to me.
But the precursor to this is that this guy walked around carrying the chair and walked past every single person involved in the match without so much as looking at them like he was going to do anything, just literally wandering around like a lost, retarded child.
Mind you, me and Dan are
Lost
working
and
each other.
We're just there. What
the fuck's he doing?
Yeah.
Hold this chair, I'm gonna drop kick you.
And that's about what it looked like. Look, except I actually think Chris was more discreet than he was.
But
Because
poor Gary goes, ready? Gary's like, yeah. What the fuck happened?
But like when he's on the camera, like I said, Chris was more discreet. It was literally he's like, hold this, because I'm gonna drop kick it. And then he did, and I was like, what? I'm literally just sitting there like 3 feet away. I'm like, that's the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
I'm so glad I missed that. Alright, here's my question.
What's your question?
Alright, here's my question for all of y'all, if you want to participate.
Fuck you, boy.
Everything. What is your proudest moment in the BWA total, and what is your least
That's two
Like-
questions.
happy? So I mean, alright.
Nah, it's alright.
Personally or Fed wise?
Both.
We make the fund, I'm very happy. Most successful is,
Pardon.
you know, I don't know, I guess the end of the year. Like, we've wrestled 20-some dates, and then we're going into a winter break knowing that we're all still going to wrestle. That makes me the most proud. And also what makes me really proud, hint, hint, is when guys are wrestling in the ring, everyone else is in the crowd being a fucking crowd instead of out back or down this fucking subway or wherever y'all go. That goes hand in hand with my least favorite, is when you have a main event with the shrinking crowd that disappears. I mean, I know people still got to go to work and shit happens, but it's tough, man. Send it that way.
I was gonna say I have to make a phone call real quick. So
Alright.
mind if we do this in an awkward order?
Counterclockwise.
Yeah.
We just paused the fucking camcorder machine.
No, that's fine. My
I'll stand up.
my proudest moment was just that at the end of that first year, just amongst peers being voted, you know, the best heel and match of the year and everything like that. And a lot of people might have one view or another about anything, but in all honesty, without this guy right here and that guy right there, I would never be where I am right now. And I've told Matt this countless times, but that match we had at Breaking Point was the first time that I felt like I could really be a pro wrestler. Before that, I was just some dude that would call Chris and he'd be like, I don't know what's going on with you, I don't have anything for you. And then just over the course of that year, just him giving me the opportunity to and really feeling like I accomplished something at the end of it, looking back on everything. Yeah, thanks for that, by the way. But that was my just how far I came and how fast I went that far. And as I said earlier, that's a lot attributed to how diligently I worked and how dedicated and everything that Chris had talked about. That, you know, I wanted that, and I wanted it more and more as time progressed. My most disappointing is probably twofold. One, I was going through some personal stuff at a time where we had a show and I was supposed to work rigs and I handled myself very immaturely and I pulled out of the match. I was very disappointed in myself. I still am. And I still feel like I owe Riggs a match because of that, but I was very disappointed in myself for that. And also, even though I had let Chris know my intentions to go pro, I was disappointed that I wasn't able to go through and finish the Battleground storyline that we had done with the Takeover and the Prodigy and all those other things. But it was just, the timing for me was such that it was kind of this or that, and I didn't really know how to make that choice better than the one that I made. But once again, it was one of those, I wish I could have done something to wrap it up a little cleaner. But yeah, that was it.
Okay. All right, who's next?
I'll go.
Alright.
The thing I'm most disappointed about, I'll start with that one.
Goodness gracious.
I kind of made it a goal when I came back at Brawl for All last year. I wanted to kind of take somebody new and kind of build them up and help them out. I actually was asked by Riku Heartless to kind of take him under my wing and show him, because he's a big guy and I'm a big guy, and I guess he wanted to learn, some big guy psychology, and I kind of gave him some pointers, and I guess I didn't really follow through with, really kind of helping that guy out, and part of it was his fault because he didn't really take what I was telling him, and he didn't really execute the things that I told him he needed to do. But I'm 30 years old. There's a couple other guys that are 30 or over, and I don't feel like if you combine all my years of backyard wrestling, I've done quite a few things, and I'm not like looking for personal accolades for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm extremely thrilled to be in one of the main events of Legacy. I'm not saying I'm not. That's awesome too.
Keep your game face on, guys.
That was disgusting. So I was disappointed.
A meat flap.
But yes, I feel like I'm at a
You're
point
married
where anything I get from here on out is like a bonus, and I want to pick up some guys, and I actually hate the way that people train at the end of the shows, and that's another conversation for another day. The way people train at the end of the shows really sickens me. No one is getting any better. And I feel like I could be doing more to kind of help people grow, and I don't, because I don't want to, tell the people that are doing the training that they're terrible at it. But
kind of just did.
now I did, so.
So come Thursday.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even talking about Thursday. Come Thursday, but
For better training is what you said.
yeah, I mean, like, people train at the end of the show. If we have time left over, if the show ends at 5:30, we got the place till 6. People run the ropes for a half an hour and they don't do anything.
Yeah, do rope drills the whole time.
Makes me
That's
angry.
not what it should be for.
And I just stand there and I probably should just go in the ring and tell everyone to
You want to run
stop.
the next one?
Yeah,
maybe I should.
I'll support you.
Just change it up a little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, so
anything good, the best.
Yeah, the thing I'm most proud about is that I can still be a part of it, and this stage of the game, there are so many fucking good people, and our roster is so deep right now. I'm just glad to be counted among you. That's it. I'll take the easy one. I'll take the cop out answer because kind of crunch for time.
Okay.
I
remember that.
most disappointing.
Yourself.
Yeah, the mistake show.
Your career.
The
Yeah.
legacy early.
Your entire career in BWA.
Everything you've ever done with your life.
Everything you've done is a lie.
Most disappointing is due to outside arrangements is missing a show prior, but that was due to family reasons. And like Fed related, in all honesty, I don't really have any disappointments, personally anyway. Now, proudest achievements or whatever the word that I'm supposed to be saying is
Proudest.
my proudest above all.
This reminds me of Ricky Bobby right now. He's like, I
Not
don't know what
quite
to do
sure.
with my hands.
My proudest is to have been one of the originals to help set and bring where this is today. I mean, I give the best performance in ring that I can possibly do, but where the BWA is now compared to where it was, my proudest is probably being a part of that and making it and bringing it where it is. So if you could just turn and thank that man, because they don't be hiding. He said earlier that he would show everybody that he understands the character. And believe me, every Fed I've been in did not take a chance with me in making me world champion or main event anything. He did. Yes. He did. And for that, I felt that kind of pushed me even harder to...
Well, Craven was going to put the world title on you, Independence.
But I didn't want it that way.
I know.
That was better.
I know.
But, because of the booker we have, I am who I am and have become the character that I am, and I'm able to help the younger guys. So my proudest is being able to start the BWA and build it to what it is.
Okay.
That'd be the first ever world champ. I'm sure it's on the list somewhere. It's good.
I was going to say, thank you for that.
It's a good thing.
You're the undisputed champion.
I had my pick, man. I could have picked anybody.
Yeah, you did. You made me the first person to hold both top titles the whole nine, man.
That's fine.
Grand Slam champion, too, as an accolade of capturing my first BEWA
Title for title. And it wasn't a cop-out. The titles...
Surprisingly, it was like, holy shit, there's somebody actually winning this.
That's what sometimes the basic is what surprises people.
Damn, that is...
Because he had a title for title with Kid that was a cop-out finish. Thomas had title for Kid, Eric Hayes that was a cop-out. You see a lot of Warfare and Chaos matches are cop-outs within themselves. They're busy worked on the pay-per-view, main event shows.
Well, to think I went in Ascension 2 expecting to put the cameraman over, by the way.
Yeah,
I was like, how's DT
he won the top
me?
title Ascension 1. He wasn't hurting.
Yeah, well, still, I went in there behind the wall. I said, so how's he got me? And you're just like, I was like, what the hell's that mean?
Is that what you did?
Hey, did that?
I believe it.
Well, he was about to take over the company. He didn't even know it.
Damn. That was...
My
things were.
question to you, Chris, and I know this has probably been a hell of a lot, but how many times have you found yourself in question of certain performers? And it's a two-part question. And how many times have you found yourself back at the drawing board?
Ooh. That's
I don't
a good
understand either question. What
That's
did you
a
say
good
with the
one.
first one?
Like,
In question?
is there any, or have you ever been in question of certain roster members? Like, are they going to be here? Can I trust them for this? Will they be able to do...
Yeah, all the fucking time. All the juggalos and fucking... there's certain people you can rely on and have a proven track record. Everybody in this room is on that list. Even though DT misses shows here and then, he gives me fair warning, advance notice, so it's not like he just no shows or nothing. He doesn't like legacies, except for ones he's in a world title match for. But anyway,
Damn.
That's...
I don't understand the exact wording of your question. It sounds like Derek's saying it.
Of the second part? Or
You're saying
Has there ever been any time that you were in question, say, of you put the world title or one of the top championships or anything on somebody, and you were in question of like, maybe should I have done this? Is this the best option?
Of course, I've not booked perfectly these 4 years. Nobody can.
Which?
And I
Clown.
don't book this backyard fed like I would if I was in a pro fed trying to make money and trying to sell tickets. It's night and day, really. I mean, I could do that, but to me, it's more like a club with the rotations we mentioned earlier. Eventually, what goes around comes around. You can stick it out, you're going to get an opportunity. I do not regret putting the BWA Championship on Twitch one iota, because while he wasn't the greatest technical wrestler, he consistently through the first year and a half up until the time he cashed in, he worked his way up the ranks. He wrestled decent matches with people, and he had such beef with franchise that when he capitalized and that to me that was the best cash in, because him and Masters killed each other in the best of 3 falls, and Twitch came out and picked up the pieces. So I don't regret that. The Mac Daniels one, yeah, I kind of regret that, but
I actually like
it is
that
what
one.
it is. I think Mac Daniels was a believable big man, and I don't regret things like that. But there's definitely storylines that I should have drug farther. There's matches I should have made sooner. But sometimes I get in the habit.
People have.
I get in the habit of trying to save stuff, to try to push stuff. Oh, we'll do that next year. We'll do this when we get more time. But we don't. This fed could close tomorrow, man. Who the fuck knows? How we doing on time?
Got about 6 minutes left.
What about the second part of that question? Was how many times have you found yourself back at the drawing board?
Every time Spider fucked up, He was about to win the Eclipse match. All I had to do was tap out to this guy, send him to the world title match. His payback was he was going to go to the BWA title match, Eclipse the Wrestling World, everybody wins. And he couldn't tap out. He told Thomas, I can't remember, you would tell better because you were right the fuck there.
I'm passed out. Which was funny to me because I have him in the lock. He's visibly like his eyes are open. He's talking. I'm passed out. I'm unconscious. Just ring the bell. And I was like, you're talking. You're awake. Have you ever been like inches away from firing somebody? Not based upon any like outside decision that they've made to question Andrea's childhood friends and the African Americans, but because of like somebody who is incredibly like unsafe. Have you ever been like, I need to have the conversation and be like, look,
I stopped.